welcome back to another episode of World of Tanks and Guinea Titan, and I have two games that are united by the common theme of Lakeville, and I always find that Lakeville, I always get that kind of sinking feeling every time I get Lakeville, because you never know what's going to happen in Lakeville, and you never know which team you're on, because one team is going to behave like a bunch of total idiots. Sometimes both teams will behave like a bunch of total idiots. You might actually have a vaguely interesting game, but even when you win on Lakeville and win well, sometimes you feel you don't deserve it because the other team behaved like total idiots. And sometimes when you lose, you sort of wonder, how did your team lose that match? Like, how could the one team send the entire team in a particular direction and not fail to carry the day, sort of thing. And they do. So, as usual nowadays in Lakeville, people don't rush into the town anymore, even though that is probably the best strategy you could do, because if you arrive in the town singly, you'll just get defeated and detailed by enemies who will arrive in greater strength. So people tend to queue up outside and look at each other and kind of go, is there enough of us here to go into town? And if there's enough of us here to go into town, maybe we should go into town. Sort of thing. And sometimes they could decide, well, maybe there isn't enough of us here to go into town, and they all sort of sit outside the town in the best place they can think of to see if they can get ambushed to people coming out of the town. We've nobody scouting down the mountain road, despite the fact that we have a light tank on the team who is actually hiding in a bush at the base of the valley. There are bushes there. They're not very effective at keeping you hidden, but they're there. Meanwhile, we've gone into town, and it turns out the enemy actually are in town in reasonable strength. Well, there's at least two of them, which is reasonable for Lakeville. And we've pushed down through the centre of the valley as well. Wow. Anyway, realising there was too many tanks around that corner, I'm backing up and hoping for some support, which I get, actually. Yay to my team. I mean, in fairness, there was enough of us here, and I did get support, which is a really good thing and something you don't always see. My driver is dead, but I don't realise it, because there's a Comet and it handles pretty well. Was that the same T-34-100 that shot me earlier on? It is. He rather foolishly didn't wait for support, or didn't stick around where his support was, instead of drove out into the open to get shot at by multiple enemy tanks. And we now finish off the heavy tanks that were holed in the corner. There is a lone Thunderbolt. Actually, our guys are down to the end of the valley. Most of the enemy team is dead. This is pretty quick. We're, 2.5 minutes into the game. Somebody shooting from across the lake. Right, Thunderbolt. Let's see if we can. I wonder what he's. Well, I think the last time I looked, he was facing towards the lake, and of course I can't drive. And I repair my driver, and then ironically crash into the corner of the wall again. They are some tough drain pipes. They survive an encounter with the tank. Anyway, Thunderbolt, bounce. Don't bother switching to the good stuff, actually, because, well, there's enough of us here. He's doomed anyway. And we put it around when he's square on, we can put penetrate. Although it's not a guaranteed. It probably required some RNG assistance there to get through, and the Tiger 1 is remaining, and he's gone off to try and save. The enemy tank destroyer on the lakeside road is just dead, and there's another one left, and it's kind of all over faster than you can talk. Less than 4 minutes into the game, there's an AMX AC-49 surrounded, being shot at from every direction, and yeah, he's still won't make the 4-minute mark. Right, so that is it. Lakeville. One way of doing it. And for once, yes, the enemy team, the guys that go down the valley, arrived at around the same time as the people who are actually made of the cap circle before the people coming around the other side. That knotted us, 3 killed, 1200 damage, small amount of assistance damage, 2nd class mastery. And we were 86.18 of our damage standing at the time this game was recorded, which was mid-July, on the Comet. And now, Lakeville Guild. but with a different set of tanks and a different set of circumstances. In this particular case, we're in the Kraft Panther, and it is a very tier 7 game. There's what, a tier 6 to a tier 5 on the enemy team. Very tier 7. And at this stage again, not going to go near the town, the valley. Certainly not in the Kraft Panther. It's been a long time since I've been down the valley. But if I was going down the valley, I would want to go down the tank with a pretty tough turret, tough frontal armour, and good gun depression. Probably an American tank or a British tank. Centurion, Conqueror, Carnarvon, maybe. But probably not. It's just something I just regard you just shouldn't do and shouldn't encourage. Although you can get the most damage by doing it. You'll have no influence on whether you win or lose, but you will get a lot of damage. Comet in the middle of the road, and he is sitting there. So he turns me a little bit aside, so we shoot the tracks. And we've tracked him, and now we're going to take advantage of the fact that he's tracked more or less in the open, being shot at by multiple tanks. And he obviously doesn't have a repair kit or repair skills, and he's dead. We managed to pick up about a third, I suppose, of his total hit points. Well, more. A good chunk of his total hit points actually, and a good chunk of his hit points from assisted damage while he was tracked. So he was untracked for a good period of that as well, but he was still in the same location being shot at. And you can, if you're really decisive about it, get a Comet out of there. I mean, the Comet's a really reasonably lively tank. It's not like it's a slow tank. He could get it out of there if he really tried. He might not have a lot of hit points left, but it's certainly no place to hang around. It's probably not the best place to go in a Comet. They're not really stealthy enough for that location. The team has already been through the town and established that there's nobody here. In fact, the entire enemy team is in the valley, with the exception of the Comet and the other two tanks that are at the corner. So there's no point in me sitting around. I might as well just drive through the town as fast as I can, because we've already been through the town and we know there's nobody there. So there's an AT-8 who is not going to last very long, because he's sideways onto tanks who are the other side of the lake or up the road, and is now a matter of just pushing on. There are, well, no remaining tanks, I would say, this side of the cap circle. There's a possibility of a tank in the buildings ahead, but I think I'm close enough at this stage that I would have spotted them. And there may be one somewhere at the back of the cap circle. So there's a Tiger 1. He is around the back of the ridge line where the artillery normally hides out, but there's no artillery in this game. The enemy are only down 4 tanks, but the thing is, they're not rushing the central line. They're being the usual peekaboo and cautious about it, because nobody wants to lose their tank. But at the same time, we're closing in around them, so they're going to become surrounded in the valley, and that's really a nasty place to be surrounded in, because they'll then be under multiple crossfires. So there's this aiming CLC, and well, the light tank is pushing forward. I was hoping he'd poke out and try and shoot the light tank, but he didn't. So he's withdrawing actually, so I might as well push forward and support the light tank, because he's going to run into the Tiger at the other side of the ridgeline here, and if I leave him alone, he will probably die. And, well, he'll probably die anyway. So we come around and we bounce one off the front of the Tiger. He's going to do bigger alpha damage than me, so he's going to do more damage to me than I'm going to do to him per shot. So he could effectively trade. However, I have allies and friends, and there's more coming, and the allies and friends do a lot of damage because they are one of them's tank destroyed, and it's actually now, what, 4 of us? Yes, so there's more than enough of us to deal with a Tiger. 5 of us possibly, there's somebody to my right as well. So we have a Challenger who is on his own, and in the open, and again under fire from multiple tanks, and he's just forced to back off. We have enemy tanks on the ridgeline opposite, and they're now trying to shoot back down the valley towards our direction. And they're not going to last very long either, because there's again just tanks queuing up here to shoot people. This is a turkey shoot. Or shooting the proverbial fish in a barrel. Like, there's no place for them to go, no place for them to hide. And the only problem really is we have such a choice of targets that we may not be focusing firing to maximum efficiency or minimizing the threat to us. So we're not maybe doing what we call force protection type firing well enough. Ooh, 8 points. He's surviving on 8 points, and I was trying to put that through the roof, but I hit the gun mantle. The gun mantle's actually quite strong, but he needs to be finished off. He's quite a dangerous tank, and now I have a flanking shot. There's only 2 of them left, so this is a bit longer than the last one. I mean, we're into the 5-minute mark, into the maybe 6 minutes, but there are only 2 tanks left, and it's just a question of getting shots off. 88 points on the IS-2M, and now it's just the AT-7, one of the toughest tanks in the field probably, and he's just surviving on sheer steel and hit points. Bounced a shot off his rear there, and we get the final shot. So, as I said, turkey shoot, 19 damaging ribbons. A little bit of assistance damage from tracking. Not sure who I tracked, but anyway. So, 60,000. 2,451. Must have blind fired somebody as well. 473 assisted. 4 destroyed. Ace tanker. And we had, I think we were requesting for damage standing here as well, so we possibly look at it, but we came number 1 by experience. So that is sort of Lakeville on a high note, really, but it's kind of stuff you can see, and you can see the reverse of that as well, in the sense that sometimes you're on the red team and sometimes you're on the green team in Lakeville, and there's no real control over the matter at all. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please press like, comment, share. It really helps the channel out. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.